Admiral R. Hari Kumar, Chief of Naval Staff, is on a 4-day official visit to Sri Lanka. He met with Admiral N. Bulletin, a commander of Sri Lankan Navy, and held fruitful discussions on maritime security matters of common interest and prospects for further enhancing cooperation in maritime domain. Chief of Naval Staff Admiral R. Hari Kumar laid wreath at the IPKF Memorial. The visit of CNS symbolizes strong relations and close cooperation between the two countries, with Sri Lanka being accorded the status of Priority 1 partner by India. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has condemned opposition attempt to stall the parliament over India-China LAC clash. While briefing media, he said that Parliamentary Affairs Minister has clearly said that the Defence Minister will make a statement on this in the parliament. Home Minister has saluted the valour shown by Indian Army troops on the intervening night of December 8 and 9 in Arunachal Pradesh. He said that till BJP government is there in the country, no one can capture even an inch of land. Nation paid homage to the brave hearts at a tribute program in the Parliament House premises on the anniversary of Parliament House attack. Rajya Sabha paid tribute to those killed in terror attack on Parliament in 2001. The members stood up in respect of those who sacrificed their lives for the safety and sovereignty of the country. Lok Sabha members also paid tribute to those killed in terror attack on Parliament in 2001, remembering the valour of alert security personnel who foiled the attack on this symbol of democracy. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla said that we solemnly remember the cowardly attack on our Parliament on 13th December. Highlighting India's culture, Union Law Minister Kiran Rijiju today said India has emerged as a soft power and become powerful. He also said that Arunachal Pradesh is part of India since the Asian period, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi has presented it in a beautiful way. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar to visit New York for chairing signature events of India's December presidency of UN Security Council to unveil Mahatma Gandhi's bust at the premises of the UN headquarters. Addressing the United Nations Security Council debate on international residual mechanism for criminal tribunals, India's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ruchira Kamboj, said that the mechanism should continue to work in remaining residual functions, including protecting victims and witnesses. India have hit hard at Organization of Islamic Cooperation Secretary General for visiting POK by calling him mouthpiece of Pakistan. Crackdown on terrorists continues in Jammu and Kashmir. This year, security forces have killed 86 terrorists so far in the Union Territory, stating that 56 foreign terrorists have been neutralized by security forces in 2022. Jammu and Kashmir's Director General of Police Dilbagh Singh said those involved in terror activities would not be spared. PM Narendra Modi participates in program commemorating 150th birth anniversary of Sri Aurobindo today. A commemorative coin and postal stamp in honor of Sri Aurobindo have been released. Remembering Sri Aurobindo, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said he was a prominent freedom fighter and a philosopher whose ideals have inspired generations. The S&P BSE Sensex gained 403 points or 0.65% to settle at 62,533. Meanwhile, the NSE Nifty settled 0.6% higher at 18,608. The Indian rupee plunges 26 paise to 82.80 per dollar on Tuesday. Gold futures recorded a hike of rupees 45 and 0.08% on the MCX. The rates are retailing at rupees 54,132 per 10 grams. Meanwhile, silver futures recorded a jump of rupees 423 or 0.62% and were trading at rupees 68,085 per kg. Crude oil prices continued climbing higher in early trade today, driven by China's relaxation of COVID-related restrictions. The prices of petrol and diesel remain unchanged on Tuesday. The real price of petrol and diesel in New Delhi is rupees 96.72 and rupees 89.62 per litre. According to U.S. House Financial Services Committee, FTX CEO John Ray will tell lawmakers today that the bankrupt cryptocurrency exchange had unacceptable management practices, including the mixing of assets and lack of internal controls. FTX filed for U.S. bankruptcy protection last month, and its founder Sam Bankman-Fried resigned as chief executive. Both Ray and Bankman-Fried will testify before the committee today. Ray also addressed why FTX US was included in the bankruptcy filing, which Bankman-Fried expressed confusion about in media interviews, claiming that the company's US entity is financially sound. Arrivals in Hong Kong from Wednesday will no longer receive an amber code, barring them from some venues, Chief Executive John Lee said, while dropping use of a government-mandated COVID-19 mobile application. The news of a further loosening of COVID-19 curves in the global financial hub is set to boost resumption of travel and business, as the code had limited access to bars and restaurants. Dozens queued while paramedics rushed the seriously ill into a fever clinic in eastern Beijing on Tuesday, almost a week after Chinese authorities scrapped major COVID restrictions across the country. The violence erupted on Monday as riot police in Lima cracked down on protesters calling for new President Dina Boluarte to step down. Footage posted on social media showed a protester who was running up along the street of a Giron de la Union in El Centro, knocked down by a projectile during a clash. South Korea, Japan and the United States will coordinate sanctions and close gaps in the international sanctions regime against North Korea. Seoul's envoy for Korean Peninsula, Kim Gun, said. U.S. Special Representative for North Korea, Sung Kim, said that the meeting in Jakarta that the behavior of Pyongyang presented one of the most serious security challenges to the region and beyond. A Hong Kong court on Tuesday postponed a landmark national security trial against Hong Kong media tycoon and China critic Jimmy Lai to late September next year. The delay for this closely watched trial comes as Hong Kong waits for China's top legislative body to make a ruling on whether foreign lawyers would be allowed to work on national security cases. French President Emmanuel Macron on Tuesday welcomed Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal at the Élysée Presidential Palace in Paris, as Ukraine's allies are set to meet in the French capital to discuss providing urgent aid to help the country get through freezing winter temperatures as Russian forces target civilian infrastructure across the nation. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky urged the group of 7 nations on Monday to help his government obtain an additional 2 billion cubic meters of natural gas and to supply it with modern tanks, artillery units and shells, as well as long-range weapons. The European Parliament met for a session in Strasbourg on Tuesday as Vice President Eva Kaili, a suspect in an investigation into money laundering and corruption, and the Parliament has denied receiving money from Qatar, according to one of her lawyers in Greece. The Cuban Coast Guard intercepted on Monday a raft with over 10 Cubans on board attempting to leave the island bound for the United States. Footage captured shows Cuban Coast Guard throwing life vests to rafters on a vessel with a U.S. flag painted on it at Havana shore. Peru's police on Monday clashed with protesters demanding the dissolution of Congress and calling for democratic elections, rejecting Dina Boluarte as Peru's president after former leader Pedro Castillo was ousted. Demonstrations rallied at the airport in Arequipa and the nearby area. Brazil's president-elect Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva was awarded his presidential diploma in ceremony where he said his electoral victory means the Brazilian people have reconquered democracy. Da Silva attended the ceremony held in Brazil's Supreme Electoral Court in the capital to receive the official documents which certify the result of October's elections. Supporters of far-right Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro on Monday attempted to invade the federal police headquarters in Brasilia, the capital, protesting the arrest of an indigenous leader in the first major flash of post-election violence. About 1,500 people crossed the Rio Grande on Sunday overnight from Mexico into El Paso, Texas, amid an increase in migrant arrivals in the area ahead of the expiry of a pandemic-era order that blocks them at the U.S.-Mexico border. The United States will commit $55 billion to Africa over the next 3 years as President Joe Biden prepares to host the US-Africa summit this week and discuss 2023 elections and democracy in the continent with a small group of leaders. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said on Monday the United States is bringing the resources to the table during the summit, adding that the United States' commitment to invest in the African continent compares favorable to any other country. Protesters clashed with police outside Montenegro's parliament on Monday as hundreds rallied against the government. Protesters pelted police in front of the parliament building with rocks and signal flares and attempted to break through a police barrier before they were pushed away. Relatives of Lockerbie bombing victims were closely following developments after the United States took custody of the Libyan man accused of making the bomb that blew up Pan Am Flight 103, killing 270 people in 1988. A school and several houses burned to ashes as wildfires raged in central Chile at Romeral, Melipilla, Vina del Mar and Santiago de Chile. Wildfires consumed trees, houses and a school. Firefighters were also seen arriving at the scene and battling the fire. Representatives of Colombia's government and of the National Liberation Army guerrillas completed the first round of peace talks in Venezuela's capital Caracas on Monday, with the next round of negotiations to take place in Mexico. The two sides restarted peace talks on 21st November. The crisis hit Cuba on Monday, forecast economic growth of 3% for 2023 and reported 2% in 2022, half of what it had previously predicted and down 8% from the pre-pandemic level. This year has proved tough for most Cubans who had already suffered as a result of 2 years of pandemic lockdowns, raging inflation and food, medicine and other shortages. Around 1,000 Serbian nationalists rallied in Belgrade in support of Serbs living in Kosovo on Monday, blocking roads in the country's north in protest of perceived anti-Serb policies. Protesters waved flags blending the Russian and Serbian flags and showing Kosovo in the colors of Serbian flag and sang patriotic songs about the former province. The U.S. Department of Energy will announce today that scientists at a national lab have made a breakthrough on fusion energy, the process that powers the sun and stars that one day could provide a cheap source of electricity. The scientists at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in California have achieved a net energy gain for the first time in a fusion experiment using lasers. U.S. stock indexes rallied to kick off the trading week on Monday, lifted in part by gains in Microsoft and Pfizer as investors girded for inflation data and policy announcement from the Federal Reserve later in the week. In Kashmir, Idaho, winter storms left over 20 inches of snow during the weekend, according to a video shared on Twitter by the National Weather Service. A powerful winter storm system moved across the U.S. Northwest Plains and Southwest, bringing frigid temperatures, blizzard-like conditions and freezing rains that threatened to snarl traffic and cause power outages. In Bolivia, at least 7 people died and 15 were injured when a hailstorm knocked down a school's roof during a graduation ceremony. Israel Prime Minister designate Benjamin Netanyahu pledged on Tuesday to balance out religious and secular interests in Israel as it tries to form a new government with nationalist and ultra-Orthodox Jewish parties. 5 Chinese nationals were wounded in an attack on a hotel in central Kabul on Monday, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin said on Tuesday. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern was caught on a hot mic calling a fellow politician an arrogant prick in Parliament on Tuesday. Ardern had been responding to a series of questions by ACT party leader David Seymour before she sat down and was heard on a microphone that was still live saying he's such an arrogant prick. Fans lined the road outside of a South Korean military training center on Tuesday, waiting to catch a glimpse of Jin, the oldest member of K-pop phenomena BTS, who begins his 18-month mandatory national service. Meanwhile, BTS members say goodbye to Jin as he begins military service. Jin gets farewell from RM, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin and V. Jungkook. Christmas light displays have lit up across Sydney, enchanting and encouraging residents to enjoy the festive season in the heart of the harbour city. The Tallest Christmas tree in New South Wales with over 1 lakh sparkling LEDs and several hundred baubles thrilled onlookers in Martin Place with its vivid light and sound display. Sydney's largest Catholic cathedral, St. Mary's, was illuminated with luminous projection portraying scenes from the Old Testament through to the birth of Jesus. Christmas lights of all colors sprinkled as visitors perused hundreds of nativity scenes at the northern French home of Jean-Pierre and Veronique Verschelde. The couple has amassed a collection of 922 nativity scenes from 68 countries throughout decades and has converted the basement of their home in the French town of Bois-Graner near Lille into a small museum for the Christmas decorations. The Verschelde's collection started when Jean-Pierre gifted a traditional nativity scene to Veronique 3 decades ago. The birth of 7 African lion cubs was recently recorded in the Zoological Park of Mosterland in the Algerian city of Mostaganem, sparking happiness and joy among keepers. The cubs are of a rare breed of lions on the verge of extinction, no longer found in the wild. 4 of the cubs are white cubs and 3 of them are brown. The park is home to 21 African lions and cubs, 2 liger big cats, 5 Royal Bengal tigers, 7 polar wolves and 6 other African golden wolves, in addition to 140 other animals from around 40 species. Dozens of Siberian ice swimmers took the extreme contest to the next level by donning heavy body armor and carrying assault rifles as they faced the icy waters. The competition was joined by local military university students who swam 25 meters wearing combat equipment and assault rifles weighing over 20 kilograms this year. The competition took place in the city of Tumen in temperatures of around -10 degrees Celsius. Dog lovers in Nigeria's commercial capital Lagos were dazzled at a weekend carnival where man's best friend strutted the red carpet in colorful outfits. This carnival was part of a drive to encourage pet ownership in a country where dogs are often bred for their meat. Wearing sheepskins and equipped with archaic wooden mask bells and willow branches, furry figures called Krampuses could be spotted again in the Munich city centre for the first time in 2 years as they made their way through the streets. Krampus is a traditional figure from the customs of the Eastern Alps, which is supposed to scare the naughty children and give sweets to the well-behaved children. Britain's King Charles III enjoyed a game of blind football as he visited the Royal National College for the Blind to mark its 150th anniversary. The King shook hands with the football players and also met students studying Braille at the college and staff members. He also unveiled a plaque and posed for a photo with students. The sequel to movie box office champion Avatar arrives in theatre this week, 13 years after the first film. Avatar was touted as one of the jewels in Walt Disney Co's $71 billion purchase of 21st Century Fox assets in 2019. Avatar, The Way of Water and Top Gun Maverick were named among the contenders for Golden Globe Awards. Dark comedy film The Banshees of Inisherin led all movies with 8 nominations. The stars of Avatar, The Way of Water turned out in Los Angeles on Monday night for the North American premiere of the long-awaited Avatar sequel. Director James Cameron was a no-show due to COVID infection. Among the stars who walked the blue carpet at the Los Angeles premiere were original cast members Sigourney Weaver, Zoe Saldana and Sam Worthington. The cast of highly anticipated The Witcher spin-off series Blood Origin reunited on the red carpet in London for the fantasy adventure show's world premiere. The series explores creation of the first prototype Witcher and the events that lead to the pivotal conjunction of the spheres when the world of monsters, men and elves merge to become one. Italian tenor Andrea Bocelli visited New York City's Empire State Building for a ceremonial lighting in honor of the Andrea Bocelli Foundation's latest project. Bocelli was joined by his wife, ABF Vice Chair Veronica Berti Bocelli, his son and daughter, and various ABF representatives. Celebrities including Bette Midler, Uma Thurman and Sarah Jessica Parker's entire family attended the opening night of the new Broadway musical Some Like It Hot. Netflix released the first poster of the Mission Majnu, which will star Siddharth Malhotra in the lead role. Celebrated music composer M.M. Keeravani has received the Los Angeles Film Critics Association's Best Music Score Award for his work in filmmaker S.S. Rajamouli's worldwide blockbuster RRR. Kartik Aaryan announced Ashiki 3 with director Anurag Basu and producers Bhushan Kumar and Mukesh Bhatt in September. The semi-final stage in the 2022 FIFA World Cup will kick off today with the Argentina versus Croatia match in Qatar's Al Dain. France defender Rafael Varane says the World Cup title holders will not fall into the trap of overconfidence when facing Morocco in the World Cup semi-final clash on Wednesday. Gianni Infantino officiated a friendly match between former international players and Qatar-based workers at Al Thumama Stadium in Doha on Monday. Spanish Football Federation unveiled new coach Luis de la Fuente after the team's elimination in the last 16 at the World Cup on Monday. The first test match of India's Bangladesh tour begins tomorrow at the Zahoor Ahmed Chaudhry Stadium. This will be the first test between these two teams in the last 3 years, their first test encounter in Bangladesh in the last 7 years. India opener Smriti Mandhana has reached a career best 741 points as she continues to maintain her third position in the latest women's T20I player rankings for batters released on Tuesday. The International Cricket Council rated the pitch used for the first test between England and Pakistan at the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium below average for not offering any help to the bowlers. Ace drag flicker Harmanpreet Singh says Indian men's hockey team fought valiantly against a solid Australia in their own backyard, and the experience gained from the tour will help them immensely at the fast-approaching World Cup at home. World number 1 Iga Swiatek was crowned WTA Player of the Year for the first time in her career, while Barbora Krejcikova and Katerina Siniakova were named Doubles Team of the Year. Ferrari appointed Frenchman Frédéric Vasseur as Formula One team principal and general manager on Tuesday, replacing Mattia Binotto, whose resignation was announced last month. Well, that's all we have in Express News. You stay tuned for more news and updates. Namaskar.
सर आपका केवाईसी अपडेट करना है, नहीं तो अकाउंट और एटीएम कार्ड ब्लॉक हो जाएगा।
सावधान सावधान।
2.5 करोड़ का इनाम मुझे। देखिए, अनजाने कॉल्स, फर्जी ईमेल्स, लिंक्स और जाली ऐप से अपना पिन, ओटीपी, पासवर्ड कभी भी किसी के साथ शेयर न करें। आप रहेंगे सावधान तो नहीं होगा नुकसान। आरबीआई कहता है, जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
What is your message to the youth audience that is watching this show? Normally they abhor politicians, but when they hear of stories such as this, where a professional leaves an industrial legacy and enters politics and gives back to society.
I think I'm grateful to all the youth of this country who are helping build a new Bharat. Today, please take a lot of pride in your culture, your religion, your habits, जो हम कहते हैं ना रीति रिवाज, and respect your elders because they are the storehouse of all our old knowledge. And the more we actually look past, the more we will empower our future.
The changing world of news. Headlines that you wake up to. News that shapes your day. Stories that matter to you. The latest and most accurate updates. A fresh start to a new day. The Breakfast News, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. on DD India.
हमारा डेजर्ट आ गया पर हमारी चैंपियन नहीं आई अब तक।
बिल भरने के पहले तो आएगी ना।
So girls, क्या हो रहा है? बिल हो रहा है। चल अपना कार्ड दे। पिन दे। है?
RBI कहता है अपना पिन, OTP, CVV या इंटरनेट बैंकिंग पासवर्ड किसी को ना दे। ऑनलाइन बैंकिंग सिर्फ अपने ही कंप्यूटर, मोबाइल और सिक्योर नेटवर्क से करे। हाँ, ये खाने की चैंपियनशिप थी क्या? RBI कहता है जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
As the day unfolds and news and events take shape, we get you complete coverage of every news breaking in, tracking new developments as they happen. Mid Prime English, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. on DD News and DD India.
What is your message to the youth audience that is watching this show? Normally they abhor politicians, but when they hear of stories such as this, where a professional leaves an industrial legacy and enters politics and gives back to society.
I think I'm grateful to all the youth of this country who are helping build a new Bharat. Today, please take a lot of pride in your culture, your religion, your habits, जो हम कहते हैं ना रीति रिवाज, and respect your elders because they are the storehouse of all our old knowledge. And the more we actually look past, the more we will empower our future.
Get in-depth analysis of the important news of the day. Spotlight on day's newsmakers. Expert comments to dissect the news. Get the finer points of the matter. Watch Dateline 5 p.m. on weekdays on DD India.
What is your message to the youth audience that is watching this show? Normally they abhor politicians, but when they hear of stories such as this, where a professional leaves an industrial legacy and enters politics and gives back to society.
I think I'm grateful to all the youth of this country who are helping build a new Bharat. Today, please take a lot of pride in your culture, your religion, your habits, जो हम कहते हैं ना रीति रिवाज, and respect your elders because they are the storehouse of all our old knowledge. And the more we actually look past, the more we will empower our future.
Traditional medicine is widely used and increasingly relevant in the world today. Yet, it has been around for millennia. At a time when we were more in balance with our environment and in harmony with nature, we began looking into its healing powers to cure our aches and pains and discover our own remedies. Our understanding of traditional practices began to grow. Now over 80% of the world's population use traditional medicine. It's also the foundation for many modern medicines and practices. Some 40% of the approved pharmaceutical products in use today come from natural substances like tree barks and plant roots. So why don't national health strategies fully take all this into account? To answer these and other questions, we welcome the World Health Organization's new Global Center for Traditional Medicine. A bold new vision that starts in Jamnagar, Gujarat in India, but has a truly global reach. A center to support evidence and data, sustainability and innovation. Bringing together the latest knowledge and technology to advance our understanding of methods already in use by billions of people. Catalyzing ancient wisdom and modern science has never been more needed as we strive towards our global health objectives to keep the world healthy and safe, to serve those in the most vulnerable situations, and promote good health and well-being for everyone. Let's take a bold new look at this most ancient and most modern practice. Welcome to WHO's Global Centre for Traditional Medicine.
It's another six.
रिचार्ज जल्दी रिचार्ज करा। ये क्या किया?
मैच तो गया।
पेमेंट कैसे करेंगे?
टोकनाइज कार्ड से। टोकन? हाँ, ऑनलाइन पेमेंट के लिए आरबीआई लाए हैं टोकनाइजेशन। एक बार कार्ड डिटेल्स ओटीपी सीवीवी डालकर टोकन जनरेट कीजिए। कार्ड भी सुरक्षित और बार-बार डिटेल्स भरने की नो झंझट। वही सुविधा अधिक सुरक्षित।
ऑलराउंडर।
वो की मैं। आरबीआई कहता है कि
जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
The changing world of news. Headlines that you wake up to. News that shapes your day. Stories that matter to you. The latest and most accurate updates. A fresh start to a new day. The Breakfast News, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. on DD India.
What is your message to the youth audience that is watching this show? Normally they abhor politicians, but when they hear of stories such as this, where a professional leaves an industrial legacy and enters politics and gives back to society.
I think I'm grateful to all the youth of this country who are helping build a new Bharat. Today, please take a lot of pride in your culture, your religion, your habits, जो हम कहते हैं ना रीति रिवाज, and respect your elders because they are the storehouse of all our old knowledge. And the more we actually look past, the more we will empower our future.
As the day unfolds,
Hello and welcome. I am Ramesh Ramachandran. It's just after 9 p.m. in New Delhi, 11:30 at night in Beijing, 10:30 in the morning in Washington, D.C. And you're watching News Night on DD India, your prime-time destination for news and analysis. It's good to see you again. All right, on the show tonight, it was another brazen attempt to usurp land. This week, Chinese troops clashed with India along their disputed border. Now, this time at Tawang in northeastern India. It was the latest incident of wanton Chinese aggression since 2020 when shots were fired for the very first time in many decades. Last week's scuffle follows a joint India-US military exercise in the northern Indian state of Uttarakhand, which borders China. So, what is Xi Jinping up to? And what does the latest instance of Chinese belligerence mean for India and the world? We find out. Plus news and updates from around the world. All that and much more coming up over the next 1 hour. But first, as always, the headlines. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh makes a statement in both houses of parliament on the Tawang incident. Says Indian Army prevented the Chinese PLA from transgressing into Indian territory and compelled them to return to their posts. No fatalities or serious casualties on the Indian side. Home Minister Amit Shah salutes Indian Army's valor against China, alleges that Congress MPs disrupted question hour in the Lok Sabha by raising the Tawang incident in order to avoid questions over money the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation received from China and controversial preacher Zakir Naik's organization. First meeting of the Development Working Group under India's G20 presidency underway in Mumbai. India's G20 Sherpa Amitabh Kant says India to work with other G20 members and partners for accelerating the progress on sustainable development goals. first G20 finance and central bank deputies meeting also begins in Bengaluru. December marks 21 years of the attack on Indian Parliament. India pays homage to the bravehearts who sacrificed their lives defending it. Leaders cutting across political spectrum pay floral tributes. PM Modi tweets that we will never forget their service, bravery and sacrifice. Washington, D.C. hosts a 3-day U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit. Climate crisis, food security and bolstering U.S.-Africa trade and investment opportunities topped its agenda. U.S. announces $55 billion to Africa over the next 3 years. RRR bags Golden Globe nominations for Best Non-English Language Film and Best Original Song. It's the only Indian film to make the final 5 out of a clutch of other entries from India. RRR is based on the lives of real-life revolutionaries Komaram Bhim and Alluri Sita Ramaraju. And in sport, FIFA World Cup 2022 semi-finals set to kick off. Lionel Messi-led Argentina take on Croatia in the first match. Morocco, the first African team to count this one, the quadrennial showpiece, to take on France in the second semi-final. So those were the headlines. Let me now dive straight into our cover story. Last week, Indian and Chinese soldiers clashed along the line of actual control in the northeastern Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh. The clash near Yangtze in Tawang took place on Friday. It was the first major clash since a bloody standoff in Ladakh in northern India in the year 2020. On Tuesday, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh held high-level meetings, including with the military chiefs. He also made a statement before lawmakers in Parliament. The next report tells you all about what the Chinese were up to and how they were forced to retreat.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh told the Parliament that no Indian soldier was grievously injured in a 9th December scuffle with the Chinese troops in the northeastern Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh. He said the matter has since been taken up with China through diplomatic channels.
चाइना के इस प्रयास का हमारी सेना ने दृढ़ता के साथ सामना किया है अध्यक्ष महोदय, और इस फेस ऑफ में हाथापाई भी हुई है। भारतीय सेना ने बहादुरी से पीएलए को हमारी टेरिटरी में अतिक्रमण करने से रोका और उन्हें उनकी पोस्ट पर वापस जाने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया अध्यक्ष महोदय। इस झड़प में दोनों ओर के कुछ सैनिकों को चोटें भी आई हैं और मैं इस सदन को अवगत कराना चाहता हूं कि हमारे किसी भी सैनिक की न तो मृत्यु हुई है और न ही कोई गंभीर रूप से घायल हुआ है।
Last week, Chinese troops encroached upon and attempted to change the status quo at Yangtze in Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh. Indian soldiers tackled the PLA in a determined manner and forced the Chinese to go back to their post.
इंडियन मिलिट्री कमांडर्स के टाइमली इंटरवेंशन के कारण पीएलए सोल्जर्स अपनी लोकेशंस पर वापस चले गए अध्यक्ष महोदय, और इस घटना के पश्चात एरिया के लोकल कमांडर ने 11 दिसंबर 2022 को अपने चाइनीज काउंटर पार्ट के साथ स्थापित व्यवस्था के तहत एक फ्लैग मीटिंग की और इस घटना पर चर्चा की। चीनी पक्ष को इस तरह के एक्शंस के लिए मना किया गया और सीमा पर शांति बनाए रखने के लिए कहा गया। इस मुद्दे को चीनी पक्ष के साथ कूटनीतिक स्तर पर भी उठाया गया है।
Union Home Minister Amit Shah spoke with journalists outside the Parliament building on the incident.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार है, नरेंद्र मोदी इसके प्रधानमंत्री है, और जब तक भारतीय जनता पार्टी की मोदी सरकार चल रही है, 1 इंच जमीन पर भी कोई कब्जा नहीं कर सकता। कल अपने सेना के जवानों ने जो 8 की देर रात को और 9 की सुबह को जो वीरता दिखाई है, मैं इसकी बुरी बुरी प्रशंसा करता हूं। इन्होंने घुसे हुए सभी लोगों को कुछ ही घंटों में वापस खदेड़ दिया और हमारी भूमि का रक्षण किया है।
The line of actual control is an imaginary line. It separates the areas controlled by India and China. The LAC is more than 3,400 kilometers long. Broadly, it can be divided into three sectors. The eastern sector includes the northeastern states. The states of Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh form the middle sector, and the western sector comprises the Union Territory of Ladakh. The Indian Air Force is monitoring the situation along the LAC in Arunachal Pradesh. It has also stepped up surveillance along the line of actual control. Bureau Report, DD India.
President Draupadi Murmu on Tuesday said India will always remain grateful to the valiant martyrs who laid down their lives in the 2001 Parliament attack. Vice President and Rajya Sabha Chairperson Jagdeep Dhankar and Prime Minister Narendra Modi also paid tributes to those who laid down their lives. 21 years ago, on 13th December, terrorists of the Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed attacked the Parliament complex and opened fire, killing 9 people. The victims included 5 Delhi police personnel, a woman Central Reserve Police trooper, 2 Parliament watch and ward staff and a gardener. A journalist who was injured died later. All 5 terrorists were shot dead.
The attack on Indian Parliament in 2001 shook the nation. December 13, 2022 marks 21 years since Pakistan-guided terrorists launched a brutal attack on the Indian Parliament and killed 10 people, including 6 security personnel, 2 Parliament Security Service personnel and a gardener. The nation paid homage to the brave hearts who sacrificed their lives to valiantly defend the Parliament against a dastardly terrorist attack. Leaders from across the political spectrum gathered to pay homage. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Home Minister Amit Shah paid floral tributes to the martyrs. Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeted saying, "Paid homage to those who were martyred during the 2001 Parliament attack. We will never forget their service, bravery and sacrifice." The upper house of Indian Parliament, the Rajya Sabha, resumed its proceedings with Deputy Chairman Harivansh Narayan Singh presiding. The chair addressed the House and members stood up and observed silence to pay respect to those who lost their lives in the attack. Proceedings in the Lok Sabha also resumed on Tuesday morning, with the MPs paying tribute to the security personnel who laid down their lives while defending the Parliament complex from a terrorist attack on December 13, 2001. The attack, which is considered the most dastardly attack on an Indian institution, the Indian Parliament, in history, had a scary episode of killings and a valiant element of saving the heart of democracy. On the ill-fated day of December 13, 2001, a white ambassador car with a beacon and a forged Home Ministry sticker infiltrated the Parliament premises at around 11:40 a.m. Although the white car filled with AK-47 rifles, grenades and 5 terrorists entered the premises smoothly, it was not an easy task for them to execute their fierce plan. According to multiple media reports, as they entered, Constable Kamlesh Kumari apprehended some suspicion of their movement and approached the vehicle. She swiftly ran towards her post to seal gate number 1. However, the terrorists opened fire at her and killed the constable on the spot. Subsequently, the car moved towards gate number 12, but was forced to turn back amid the presence of tight security. The vehicle then hit the then Vice President Kishan Kant's vehicle, which forced them to move out of the car. All 5 terrorists sprayed bullets from AK-47 rifles and hurled bombs. The gunfight lasted about 30 minutes, and all the terrorists were eventually killed. During the confrontation, 5 security personnel of Delhi Police, 1 lady constable of the CRPF, and 2 security assistants of Parliament Watch and Ward Section A gardener and a photojournalist were also killed. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
Tuesday was the 150th birth anniversary of Indian philosopher and freedom fighter Sri Aurobindo. On the occasion, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed a gathering in Puducherry via video link. He released a commemorative coin and postal stamp in honor of Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo was born on 15th August 1872 in West Bengal. He breathed his last on 5th December 1950 at Puducherry.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday addressed a program celebrating Sri Aurobindo's 150th birth anniversary via video conferencing on Tuesday in Kamban Kalai Sangam, Puducherry, under the aegis of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Addressing the gathering, PM Modi underlined the importance of the occasion of Sri Aurobindo's 150th birth anniversary, which is being celebrated with great fervour throughout the country. PM said it is the duty of every citizen to take inspiration from Sri Aurobindo and make the dreams of a developed India a reality.
श्री अरविंदो का 150वां जन्म वर्ष पूरे देश के लिए एक ऐतिहासिक अवसर है। उनकी प्रेरणाओं को, उनके विचारों को हमारी नई पीढ़ी तक पहुंचाने के लिए देश ने इस पूरे साल को विशेष रूप से मनाने का संकल्प लिया था। पुडुचेरी की धरती पर, जो कि महर्षि की अपनी तपोस्थली भी रही है, आज राष्ट्र उन्हें एक और कृतज्ञ श्रद्धांजलि दे रहा है।
On the occasion, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also released a commemorative coin and postal stamp in honor of Sri Aurobindo. Prime Minister highlighted that the nation is paying tributes to Sri Aurobindo by releasing a commemorative coin and postal stamp. The Prime Minister expressed the belief that such efforts by the nation will give new energy and strength to India's resolutions. Prime Minister explained that in 1893, Sri Aurobindo returned to India, and in the same year, Swami Vivekanand went to America to deliver his iconic speech at the World's Parliament of Religions. PM Modi said that the life of Sri Aurobindo is a reflection of Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat, as he was born in Bengal and knew many languages including Gujarati, Bengali, Marathi, Hindi and Sanskrit. He spent most of his life in Gujarat and Puducherry and left a deep imprint wherever he went.
उन्होंने हमें दिखाया कि जब हम हमारी संस्कृति को जान लेते हैं, जीने लगते हैं, तो हमारी विविधता हमारे जीवन का सहज उत्सव बन जाती है। साथियों, ये आजादी के अमृतकाल के लिए बहुत बड़ी प्रेरणा है। एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत का इससे उत्तम प्रोत्साहन क्या हो सकता है। कुछ दिनों पहले ही मैं काशी गया था। वहां काशी तमिल संगमम कार्यक्रम का हिस्सा बनने का अवसर मिला। यह अद्भुत आयोजन है। भारत कैसे अपनी परंपरा और संस्कृति के माध्यम से कैसे अटूट है, अटल है, ये हमें उस उत्सव में देखने को मिला।
Sri Aurobindo, born on 15th August 1872, was a visionary who made lasting contributions to India's freedom struggle. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, an endeavour to celebrate the glorious history of India's people, culture and achievements on the occasion of 75 years of independence, is commemorating Sri Aurobindo's 150th birth anniversary by organising year-long activities and programmes across the country. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
changing world of news. Headlines that you wake up to. News that shapes your day. Stories that matter to you. The latest and most accurate updates. A fresh start to a new day. The Breakfast News, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. on DD India.
What is your message to the youth audience that is watching this show? Normally they abhor politicians, but when they hear of stories such as this, where a professional leaves an industrial legacy and enters politics and gives back to society.
I think I'm grateful to all the youth of this country who are helping build a new Bharat. Today, please take a lot of pride in your culture, your religion, your habits, जो हम कहते हैं ना रीति रिवाज, and respect your elders because they are the storehouse of all our old knowledge. And the more we actually look past, the more we will empower our future.
पापा ये सब?
हाँ, जो चीजें सालों से बेवजह पड़ी हो उन्हें हटा देना चाहिए।
ये भी दादाजी की पुरानी पासबुक और एफडी।
अरे ये कैसे रह गया?
पैसे गए?
नहीं, उपाय है। बैंक खाते को संचालित करते रहना चाहिए वरना खाता इनऑपरेटिव हो जाता है। ऐसे में बैंक से संपर्क करें, खाता सक्रिय करवाएं और आपकी रकम जो है उसे ब्याज समेत क्लेम करें।
दादू ये?
आरबीआई कहता है जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
सही कह रहा है।
As the day unfolds and news and events take shape, we get you complete coverage of every news breaking in, tracking new developments as they happen. Midday Prime English, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. on DD News and DD India.
What is your message to the youth audience that is watching this show? Normally they abhor politicians, but when they hear of stories such as this, where a professional leaves an industrial legacy and enters politics and gives back to society.
I think I'm grateful to all the youth of this country who are helping build a new Bharat. Today, please take a lot of pride in your culture, your religion, your habits, जो हम कहते हैं ना रीति रिवाज, and respect your elders because they are the storehouse of all our old knowledge. And the more we actually look past, the more we will empower our future.
Traditional medicine is widely used and increasingly relevant in the world today. Yet, it has been around for millennia. At a time when we were more in balance with our environment and in harmony with nature, we began looking into its healing powers to cure our aches and pains and discover our own remedies. Our understanding of traditional practices began to grow. Now over 80% of the world's population use traditional medicine. It's also the foundation for many modern medicines and practices. Some 40% of the approved pharmaceutical products in use today come from natural substances like tree barks and plant roots. So why don't national health strategies fully take all this into account? To answer these and other questions, we welcome the World Health Organization's new Global Center for Traditional Medicine. A bold new vision that starts.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsnight on DD India. Let me now bring you up to speed on India's G20 presidency. The development and finance tracks of G20 meetings have begun in Mumbai and Bengaluru. The Development Working Group is one of 13 tracks being handled by the G20 Sherpas, while the Finance and Central Bank deputies are part of the Finance track. There are 5 working groups in the Finance track dealing with issues such as infrastructure, climate, taxation, cross-border financial crimes, regulation of cryptocurrency and other digital assets. My colleague Amritpal Singh reports from Mumbai.
The first meeting of the Development Working Group under India's G20 presidency kick-started in Mumbai. The meeting, which will run till the 16th of December, is being attended by G20 members, guest countries and invited international organizations. The welcome address was delivered by India's G20 Sherpa, Amitabh Kant.
We are meeting at a point of time when the world is in the midst of a turmoil. Our belief is that every crisis is also a huge opportunity, and there cannot be a better opportunity than what the Prime Minister Modi has said, that India's G20 leadership will be decisive, will be inclusive, will be action-oriented.
India's G20 Sherpa also said that data is a key aspect to help any country meet their developmental goals, and added that India has benefited from the same.
There was a
నమస్కారం దూరదర్శన్ వార్తలకు స్వాగతం. నేను కోవిడ్ జాగ్రత్తతో వార్తలు ప్రారంభిద్దాం. కరోనా నియంత్రించేందుకు ప్రతి ఒక్క మాస్క్ ధరించి ముక్కు నోరు కప్పిన సహాయ పద్ధతిలో మాస్కులు ధరించాలి. పరిస్థితులను శుభ్రం చేసుకోవాలి. వ్యక్తిగత పరిశుభ్రత పాటిస్తూ భౌతిక దూరాన్ని పాటించాలి. అర్హులందరూ వ్యాక్సిన్ వేయించుకోవాలి. నిబంధనలు పాటిద్దాం, కరోనాని జయిద్దాం. ఇక ముఖ్యాంశాలు. మహర్షి అరబిందో జీవితం జాతికి ఆదర్శం. స్వాతంత్ర సంగ్రామంలో ఆయన పాత్ర 25 మోదీ 150 సందర్భంగా అరబిందో స్మరణాన్ని పోషించబడదాం. ముఖ్యమంత్రి జగన్మోహన్ రెడ్డి అధ్యక్షతన రాష్ట్ర మంత్రి సమావేశం. జగన్ రెడ్డి సామాజిక పెన్షన్ 27,500 రూపాయల పెంపు. 40,000 ప్రభుత్వ పథకాలు అందించేలా ఈ నెల 27 విడుదల. కరసి కార్యక్రమానికి 3 రూపాయల ఉద్యోగం ఆమోదం. రాష్ట్రంలో పైసలు పెట్టుబడులు చేసిన ఆరోపణ ఖండించిన మంత్రి దివాల అమర్నాథ్ చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు రాష్ట్రానికి చేసిన విడుదల. రాష్ట్రానికి రావాల్సిన పెండింగ్ పనులు పూర్తి చేయాలి. లోక్సభలో ఎంపీలు విడుదల లౌకిక సేవల కేంద్రానికి విడుదల. తమ చట్టాల్లో తేగ కుట్ర బాధపడ కోరిన రక్షణమంత్రి దేశ సంపద ఆపరేషన్లో ఎలాంటి విపత్తు పరిస్థితులను ఎదుర్కొంటున్న ఉన్నారు రాజ్నాథ్ సింగ్. మోదీ ప్రభుత్వ హయాంలో ఆంగ్ల భూమి కూడా ఎవరు ఆక్రమించలేదని హోంమంత్రి అమిత్ షా. ప్రపంచ ఫుట్బాల్ కప్లో నేడు తొలి సెమీఫైనల్ క్రొయేషియాతో తలపడిన అర్జెంటీనా జట్టు. ప్రధానమంత్రి కార్యక్రమం ఈ నెల 20 ఆదివారం ఉదయం 10 గంటలకు తెలుగు దూరదర్శన్ ప్రసారం. ఇక వివరాలు. అరవిందో పూణే విజయ కార్యక్రమంలో ప్రధానమంత్రి నరేంద్ర మోదీ పాల్గొన్నారు. ఆధ్యాత్మిక అమృత మహోత్సవ కార్యక్రమంలో భాగంగా ఉదయం కంబం కాళీ సంఘంలో జరిగిన ఈ కార్యక్రమంలో మోదీ భక్తులు హాజరయ్యారు. ఈ సందర్భంగా అరవిందో గౌరవం స్మారక నాణ్యం ఒక స్నాప్ ప్రధానమంత్రి మోదీ స్పష్టం చేశారు. సంస్కృతి సంప్రదాయాల ద్వారా దేశం ఏకం చేయడంలో కాశీ తమిళ సంగమం గొప్ప ఉదాహరణని వ్యాఖ్యానించారు. భాషా వేషధారణలు విభజించే రాజకీయాలను నేటి యువత విధానాన్ని నిరూపించారు.